Hey guys, my name is Seniac and welcome back to another episode of Subway Builder, where last episode, guys, we started extending more than we ever have done before. We extended our red line to go all the way down to the peninsula of the Manhattan Island, which is now picking up so many more passengers. So many, in fact, that we are now starting to see a few issues as we try and crisscross onto all these different lines, because we just don't have enough capacity. Now, I'm not worried about that too much just yet. It's solely down to the fact that we've only got one way to crisscross. We also added in the brand new green line as well, and we reworked the yellow and blue line merger because we was experiencing issues beforehand. We've since fixed them. Now, I want to say right now, guys, I really do appreciate all the little tricks and tips you guys have been giving me right now. It is super helpful, and hopefully I can apply them to create a better subway network. Now, in today's episode, I want to extend either my green line or my yellow line, one of these lines, potentially even both, but I want one of them to make its way into Brooklyn. And I want it to kind of come down, and I want it to cross over the red line, so we have another merger point that we can utilize, so we're not just relying on the blue line to do so. Now, however it crosses and merges, it's also going to eventually be running on the same set of tracks with another line eventually that will go from Brooklyn into New Jersey. So this is quite an important moment. That's all I'm going to say right now. So if you are enjoying this series, I've just realized I'm in light mode. You guys prefer it in dark mode. Then make sure you smash that like button down below. Subscribe if you are new around here so you do get notified when more episodes do come out. I just realized, guys, it was in light mode. I'm sorry for the jump scare right there, okay? We've now changed it. So, before we figure out whether we're going to use the green line or the yellow line to kind of be the first merger, I kind of do want both of them in a really weird way. So I don't know whether to kind of merge the yellow one first there and go that direction. The green one comes further down, potentially. It could be. So why don't we figure out where we're going to have two merger lines, and then we're going to also push up in that direction as well. So let me view the stats. The stats do not lie, guys. We've got residents right now, which is pretty solid all through Brooklyn and down to Long Island. And then workers are pretty much concentrated in a few little spots. So if we was able to utilize this station here to have one that crosses that way to then continue down to there, that would be good. But then where are we moving that line then next? I suppose from there, it could split into a bunch of different directions, maybe. The residents are pretty much everywhere, so I don't think we need to worry about when we get into Brooklyn where we run it, because there's not really any other worker populations. There's a few dotted around, but it's all about bringing the residents into the working areas. Right, gotcha right now. So we're gonna want a station around here. So let's see how we can kind of low-key position this. And I reckon there's a way in which we can potentially incorporate a couple of lines. So we know we're working with this area here. And what does this look like in general? So I reckon what we do is we go into build right now. And do I remain at a -10? How low do we now go is the question that I can avoid the majority of all of the train line issues. It's a bit of a tricky one, but if I was to go across there, we do incorporate hitting that building. Now, if we decrease the elevation, so let's say we pull it now down to -10, and I ran that there. So there's a weird moment where it looks like it doesn't do anything, but that's because I think it's not the right length. Now, if I bring it down to a -15, so a -15 works here. And does that work pretty much all the buildings? So I think a -15, while it is going to be a lot expensive, might be the way to go forward. It might be the way to go forward right now. So let me just double check, and before I commit to it, workers are in this area, so we kind of want it about there. Perfect. Build the station. It's -15, so this is going to be a lot more expensive than what we would normally kind of get set up. I'm going to implement the station just there. Now, how much does that cost in terms of the blueprints? That is Okay, it's double the cost of a normal station being that low. Now, I don't remember the costing, or sorry, not the costing, sorry, the depth of this. I'm going to assume that's a -5. And it looks like it is with the way that that's set up. So I'm going to put your old crisscrossy on that station just there. And that's going to lead down into there. Beautiful. Okay, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So that's where that one line's going to run down. And that will be our green line. As it eventually comes down, it will make its way through there and continue. So then the idea next then is figuring out where the yellow line's going to turn to meet in. Now, while that green line will turn to come down, we'll also make the line extend that way. So there'll be a third line that comes through. And what that third line will do is probably go a different direction to where the green line goes. That's how you can then make it make sense, if that makes sense at all. But we won't worry about that for any time soon anyway. We're all okay. We're all okay. Right, so going back to the stats then. Now, obviously, it'll be nice to incorporate it around maybe the bridge. Workers, there's a few workers around here, so I think it makes sense to kind of come down this way. And then eventually, I know we've got the airport. I mean, that's miles away at the moment. What does the airport? Okay, there's some workers in the airport. Not worried about that too much just yet, but I think trying to cover this area is a good shout. So, back to building. And we've now got to kind of utilize one of these stations. So that station's there. We could utilize that and then run maybe down this road. We're going to have to make this one a lot lower. If I don't want to incorporate, unless... Now, the next question is, it's where we want it to run that way. So if I go back to the status again, right, so workers... Either side's okay, but you want it to then, that line to continue going that way. So coming down here, I feel like that station there is slightly off. But there's not really much I can kind of do about that, I'm afraid. There is not much I can do. So go back into build mode. It is slightly off for where I kind of want it. Now, what's the reason for that? Is it because I'm trying to... I could have it down there, then have another stop over there. Right, we're going to commit to the build that we've just done first on those two stations. So the cost of it is 225 million. So we'll commit to that first, which leaves us with nearly 150 to build 2 stations almost. So we're just going to edit the red line for a minute. And what we'll do is, edit the route. We're going to get rid of it stopping there and get rid of it stopping there and there. Just so I can reposition, right? Confirm the changes. That station. So fast forward until they figure out what's going on. And once they have figured it all out, we're going to rejig it. So into edit right now, we're going to go to delete the track. So we'll delete you. We'll delete you there. We'll delete this back, delete back to there. And let's build our stations then. I'm still yet to experience with the quad. You can have like a separate for express and local services, but we're kind of keeping it all the same in reality, aren't we? Now, this station is going to be quite close to that station. But I don't think it'll be an issue because this will be quite an important one for the Chrissy Cross. So what I could do is I could position this where it's like that, where it's more to the left, and that's a -10. And then we do... Oh, no. Let me clear blueprints. Right. We'll do this one, -5. And then we'll do the other one, -10. Going that way. So they crisscross, which is great. And let me now just get the tracks all built up. So that goes to there. You go to there. I've since now, you guys have literally since told me there is no need for me to do Chrissy Crossies on all of the stations, and it is very, very expensive as well. So the cost required here is 182.94 million. But I've got my 2 crossover points right now for those 2 lines, and that's really, really important. So we'll now commit to building these blueprints and then pause it, because the red line right now needs to be readjusted to be able to go back up and down here to where it originally was going. Right. That's all good. It auto updates itself anyway. Confirm the changes, back into play mode. So we've got our 2 points there in which we're going to cross over. One's going to go straight into Brooklyn there, which makes a lot of sense. And the other line's going to turn just there. But on both turn points, so the green line will turn and there'll be a straight bit going over, obviously. But as it turns, and around here, there'll be a station that crisscrosses with the line that comes down this way, which kind of then attaches to the turn of the yellow line. Oh, there's so much combination. There's so much going to be crissy-crossy right now. There's so much, fingers crossed, efficiency about to go down. Now, to get to that point, we are going to need to now build quite a few stations. Now, I don't know whether to kind of start with the green line, because we already have that station over there implemented, because it's going to be very, very expensive. But we can stay to the -5. That does work itself out. And we're now just going to figure out, are we following this road going all the way down until it merges in there? I think that's the case. I think that's going to be the case right now. So let me just check really quickly the stats. So following that road down, you do pick up a couple of workers, which is good. Sorry, residential. So no workers here, few, but you pick them up mainly down there, but you're picking up all the residential, which is important. Right, we will then build the stations, staying at a -5 on this one. We'll stay. Kind of, try and save a few pennies. And I want to get the stations in line with what we've currently got on the go, because it helps us create crissy-crossy over routes. So that is attached to this one. So we will be placing one literally about there. The next one takes place here, which for us, we could mimic it roughly there. So it gives me a little bit of space to incorporate a bend. And yeah, the next one here is going to have to be slightly staggered. So we're probably looking at this one to go about there. And then this is the next one. This is the next interesting thing I've got to do. I'm going to have to make this station here low enough to go under all the buildings. So we will have this station. Now I know it doesn't really matter about this, but it's where that one goes across. But if I have this one just here, this is all -5. This should keep us going. So that's 4 stations there, and that's looking at about, what, 300 million at this point? Yes. Which I don't have yet, but we are getting there. We are now getting there. So I think what we'll do is we'll confirm and commit to building them 4 first, extend the green line, and then it'll earn extra money as we tick along. Or I could just commit to more blueprints and then wait until we've got enough cash. Now, this is going to be my next one. I feel like we might have to blueprint some train tracks here for this one. So I feel we'll have another station here as it exits out. But I don't think the green line will connect to that station. It's just that one last one before we pass over. And then this is the interchange to kind of change it all. Unless we had something that went that way around. Yeah, it could do. So how do I get this station to that station? Is there another stop? Well, we was going to implement another stop here, wasn't we? So it kind of makes sense to incorporate one. But this is where we then start to lose the road alignment, and we're going to have to go underneath the buildings. So at this point here, it's hurting buildings, and we've discovered that a -15 is the right way to go about it. As painful as this is going to be in terms of costs, that is the right way to go about it. And then that will just kind of come down. It will attach to the rail line that goes this way. And then we should be all good. So this rail line here could be a 5. A -5, but it does get hit that. Well, it hits that there. We can make the rail drop. Now, but then again, if I incorporate that to maybe a -10, it still hits it. So it would have to drop down to a 15. I don't want to build another 15. That's the problem. I don't want to commit to another 15, but I think I'll hold out for that one. I think we'll hold out. Now, the tracks here, obviously, we're going to have to see if we can get them to make their way through all of this. So that would go there. And then that goes like that. And then it shouldn't really be an issue, but I've got to make this be a -15, right? So I'm seeing what buildings I don't damage. And then all I've got to do is bring that. Now, the elevation change can be covered by this. But apparently no. So I might need to actually now delete those tracks. Delete these tracks to there and to there and to there and to there. And then go a little bit lower on them. So I think we'll try and get them to a -10. Because I feel like a -10 is better to transition than from 10 to 15 than from 5 to 15. So that goes in like that. So then my -15, which is what this needs to be here. Can that transition a bit better? Still no. I think I need to do it the opposite way round, if I'm being honest with you. So delete those tracks there. Build tracks. And then, yeah, I think we're going to have to do it the elevation gradual. Right, it doesn't. One train removed. Oh, hold on. What do you mean one train removed? Due to a blockage on the blue line. What? Well, we'll come back to that. What do you mean a blockage on the blue line? Don't tell me that's still causing me issues, right? I've never had that appear before. Since we fixed it. Has the blue line been oofed? What's going on here? We don't have enough capacity in general. But I'm going to reduce this down anyway. Not enough train cars increase. I need to buy some more. Let me buy 10. Is that enough? No. Buy another 10. That is now enough. Right, I'm not sure what was going on there, but we kind of need to be a bit wary of that. Right, I think we're going to have to commit to the 15. We're going to have to commit to the 15. So put that there. Build you across. It's only a short little area that's running on a 15. So like that, and then I'm able to connect up like that. So that's how that line's going to run in, and then that one's going to continue. Right. Sounds easy, right? Now, to build that is going to cost me 584 million. Crazy. Crazy, I know, but what we're getting out of this, by the way, we're getting out of a -15 station and tracks just there, and then a bunch of tracks, stations going along here to fully extend the green line before we even bring it into Brooklyn. That's going to be a wild scenario. So that's going to cross over there on Watt Street. There will be other lines that do cross over. That's why we've got the alignment all set up. So whatever ones we choose, it kind of runs through all the lines. So trying to give myself max efficiency. But I'm wondering now if there is an issue here. Could we argue we're too close here, guys? Could we argue we are too close? Or do I need to bring this down and then turn in here, giving us more room? Have your say in the comment section down below, but something ain't right, boys. Something is not right now. Right, anyway. We're just now going to wait until we got a few more pennies in the bank. And while we wait, how are we doing for revenue anyway? We could maybe think about upping the fare price. So what if I put it to $4? Let's see what changes. Now, operational revenue has been dropped in these... Oh, this is hourly, sorry. I was going to say, what happened in those days? But I would have realized that was hourly. Daily, we'll see what happens now we've changed the ticket price by 50 cents. But we seem to be making good cash anyway, so I'm not too worried about that. Here's all the trains right now. Once I get that additional crisscrossing, it will take a lot of pressure off the blue line crisscrossing. But it does mean that green line is going to become one of my longest lines at this point. And I still need another station around here for that red line. That's also quite important as well. But we're starting to get quite an extensive network already just in Manhattan alone. So I think we can be quite happy with that. We can be quite happy. Right, so where are we at now with buying this, by the way? So the cost of those blueprints is 584 million, which are actually now pretty close to getting that done. Now, track tunnels, standard tunnel stations, we're spending some serious cash there, boys. We're spending some serious cash. But we are almost ready to buy these blueprints. And then these should be fairly cheap compared to what I've now just spent because they're now a -5. So buy and build these blueprints. Bam. We've now committed to them. And let's now get the blueprints all set up for the rest of all of this. So I'm going to run this all the way across. And then we do have a bendy Wendy involved there. So what we do is we bring this all the way out to about there. And a simple bend there. So we don't need to do the old crissy-crossy until this section here. So we'll add in a crossover, which is successful. Now, considering we spent nearly 600 million to build those stations, how much is this going to cost us? 180. Okay, that's not too bad. And then we can extend officially that green line. Now, it has all this... It actually has the same amount of stops as the red line. So that mimics there. That's to there. Except that one. So technically, because I haven't got this station in here yet, that green line will have one more station than my red line. Interesting. And then two more if we extend it over to there. But I don't know whether to add another stop there. Oh, Chambers Street construction stalled. Must file 200-page report. Where's Chambers Street, by the way? Oh, it's here. Is it because nothing happened for quite some time? Is that what it was? Are they reporting that I'm not doing anything for a while? I think they are, aren't they? I think they are. So I can't commit to anything yet. And it is the middle of the day at the minute. No, it's not the middle of the day. It's the middle of the night. It's 3 a.m. in the morning where we make the least amount of money. Interesting. It's a tough one. It is a tough one right now. It is a tough one. But we're about to go and start early. So the rush hour now begins. And this is where the money should roll back in again. Right, perfect. Right, the game is going to change dramatically. So while we wait for that money to come in, are we seeing the benefit now from having that extra 50 cents? You could argue yes. Our highest ever profit on a day was 216. We've just had 220. But it can go against us increasing the prices because it then deters some people from actually using my transportation system. But let's now see. The cost of this can now be purchased. Yes, and we can now extend the green line. Right, watch the green line have a meltdown right now as I edit it. Because we're just not going to have at that point. So 6, 8, 7. What's going on there? Oh, it's got to turn around on itself, hasn't it? That's what it's got to do. Into there. And then back again. And this should update everything, right? So that is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, going all the way back. Right, that's all good. So that is now our longest line yet. We're going to confirm those changes. But look at the line right now. The green line itself, the time it takes to get there is wild. The frequency is now completely wild. So these trains will be super busy until I can afford enough to put some extra trains on the lines. Now, I could make the trains bigger, but I want to increase frequency more than anything. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. That is all I want to do. So, I'll increase high demand, but obviously we do not have enough. So I can buy 4 for 50 million. Increase you, increase you. So that's giving me more frequency more than anything, which is perfect. Absolute perfection right there. And I want to go again. So let me do 1, 2, 3. So how does that compare to the red line? So let me go to my lines. The red line has, in terms of trains, 8, 4, and a 4. So the green line kind of needs to mimic it in many ways, right? So it needs to be an 8, a 4, and a 4. So I just got to buy a few more now. So I'll buy another 50 million odd. That covers us there. Frequencies 5, 10, and 10. So there's a train every 5 minutes. I suppose that's not bad, is it? That's pretty good considering. That is pretty good. And now we got that beautiful extension. Obviously, the pièce de résistance will be when it goes into Brooklyn. That will be the pièce de résistance. So I think now then, we need to build the Crissy-Crossy system here before I extend the yellow line. Because I need to get and make sure that we've got this attachment just there as well. And that's the only other time we're going to have the Crissy-Crossy because there's too much going on here. So this is going to be way too low, but I'm wondering if I can transition. There it's got to be a minus 15. So I'm wondering then if it makes more sense for me to build tracks at minus 15. From here. Right, I'm going to go there. Just to there. And hope that transition works. So the station, I can do minus 10. And then build the tracks. We're just transitioning there, which works out really well. And then there's no stress for anybody. And then I've just got to then figure out where are we running the yellow line. So the yellow line's going to come down here. But at this point, it does get a little bit too close to there. So we kind of need to bring it through. But it needs to ultimately turn off there. It might actually just stick to this. It might actually just need to stick to this. So if I'm going to commit to a station here, a station there, and then this station's up in the air. I don't know whether it's too close to that one or whether I just don't do a station and merge it directly in. Because if you're here, you're equal distances. But it'd be nice to have something maybe a little bit lower, that kind of diagonals. Let's take a quick look at the stats here right now. So workers. Oh, okay, no, we've got to do something there for them workers. Okay, there's a lot of workers there. We've got to do something for them. Right, so stations will do a -15. And let's say I came across it like that. Or is that too far back? No, because the diagonal is like that. So it would be something like this. It would be something like that. But then the next station in question, which will be a -5, would then go here. So I need to transition from a -15 to a 5 leading into that, and also the -15 into there. So increasing this to a 15 again, I'm wondering if I can just kind of come off that like this. Maybe if I go further back. I like what I originally had first. Where did I originally have it first? Right, what if I do it from here? Ooh, is that too close? See, that works. But I'm wondering if it's too close there. It shouldn't be too close, actually. It shouldn't be too close. But it's one of those things you just never know. Until it all happens. So this is my next problemo. So I think what I do is I'm going to actually kind of bend it a little bit. So I can then kind of align it just right to connect to here. So obviously going by the 5, that should be a simple transition. So that's all I need to build. We're very close actually now completing this, but this is going to be even more, because of the depths now we're working with, this is going to be even more expensive than the whole green line situation. Okay, it's not that far off, so it's not that far off. So do I just commit to building? I only need one more station. So station's here, -5. And that station goes about there. And then build the tracks. So from there to there, from there to there. Now, at this time, we don't travel any further. So I could just allow the yellow line to run into this, meaning we'll need a crossover. So to commit to that build, which is super expensive, might I add, the cost of that is 688 million. We are spending billions with a B today to extending all of this, but this sets us up quite nicely. This now is going to alleviate more pressures off the blue line and new pressures off the green line, because the green line for the first time has a crisscross down here. But it moves and spreads out the crissy crossies, which is good. But it does not help once this comes down into there. If you're at Park Avenue here, when I get to Green Street, you've got to either go up, that way, down. We need more crossing going this way for it to make a lot more sense. But we're kind of getting that with the extensions of the lines. It's kind of getting there. Right, we'll come back to building it once we've got enough dollar bills in the bank. I need to see, is the revenue has increased just by those small little improvements. Profit is increasing. We made a profit this day so far, which is now literally just ended, at 255 million. Holy moly, we're making that a day? That's stupid cash at that point, isn't it? But we're in that time of the day right now where you make the least amount of money on the hourly. So it is what it is. So station ridership, you can now start to see the amount of people going to what stations. And interestingly, it's the crossover routes. So this line, there's not that many people wanting to cross over to get onto the blue line from the yellow line because the yellow line is so short. Okay. They find it easier to get off there and walk to the station because you can see that these stations are quite busy, where in the middle they shouldn't really be that busy. The major crossover routes there and there, so it's mainly getting people from the red line to the green line is quite a busy route. And you can see down there as well. So once we've got these other lines connected and more coming through, that would alleviate the pressures on those stations. And that would be absolutely fantastic. That really, really would. So you can, we're grouping the stations, but when you look at them individually, interesting. So the Pine Street one, which is this one over here, is it that one, Pine Street? No, this one down here is Pine Street, isn't it? Is the busiest out of all of them. And pressure should get taken off that once this line's been fully committed. Right, I like this because you get the data, you can see it actually now happening. I like it. You can see where my rail routes are now planned. So I reckon there's another 2 to cross through here on the way into New Jersey. And is it Hoboken over that way? Another warning. Oh, there's a train at a capacity. Again, this yellow line is going to do a lot of the heavy lifting very, very shortly in a minute. We just needed, what was it again? Sorry, 688 million, right? We're getting close. We are getting close. So 688 is almost there. Let me just double check that price again. Imagine we had inflation in the game where the prices are just rising in the background. That would be kind of low-key annoying, wouldn't it? Good job we don't have that, guys. Good job we don't have. Right. Build the blueprints. Built. Right, let's now pause the game and let's cause absolute chaos to the yellow line, like we did the green line. So these guys then, we need to extend on all of this. So coming down and down into there, and then heading back again. So I like how it auto updates for us anyway. I like how it auto updates. It is absolutely beautiful, that. Right, perfection goes all the way down there to crisscross there. Confirm changes. Now, I don't think it needs the 844, so we'll do 633. Now, why am I doing 633? You could argue it's in the middle of the 2 lines. But we'll find out, won't we? We will find out. So, let's see what now unveils. Because all of a sudden now, we've got this additional extension. It could mean that that blue line gets a bit more busier on that station there, because if you're here wanting to get to over there, or there to there, you might choose the yellow line more than anything now. I don't know. But these are how busy the lines currently are. Now, the yellow line is heavily increasing. It was very close to the blue line's ridership, but it's now in the 50,000s, 51. I wonder what that's going to kind of like top out to. That's going to be quite interesting. But the red line is still the busiest because it goes through the most highly populated and higher kind of working areas. But once we extend the green line and the yellow line into Brooklyn, then we should start to see those numbers starting to shift a bit more because they're using those routes to get into Manhattan. And that's quite important. So, still need to add that additional station on the red route. I ain't going to worry about that just yet. Yellow line's up to 53,000 right now. So, I think that might have gained around an extra 10,000 riders straight away. So, that's worked out fairly well. So, I want to bring them into Brooklyn then. That is the main point of all of this. I already have this station here set up. So, we're going to have one more station for the yellow line around here. Let me just double check the demands. Yes. That's important. And then heading into there. So we're going to drop a station around here. A station there. And we'll try and get all these blueprints done together now next. So build a station then. We can now go to... I'm assuming it's a straight road here. So what I'll do is I'll build it around about here just before the edge of the bridge. So it gives us a radius. But also, that's important because it's a crossover for the other line I will eventually build down this side of Manhattan. That will come through here and then obviously cross through that station. So everything's... I'm basically building a grid network without realizing it, is what I'm doing. And then once we get into here, where was the major... It's a bit everywhere. So if I got it there, because there's workers there and the residential's all around it, that makes probably the most amount of sense. So trying to keep it on the road because I can save a bit more cash. Oh, I've just committed to them blueprints and I didn't even realize what I was doing. Build you there. So that's where that one's going to run to extend the yellow line. I don't think I'm going to add one here. I don't think so. So to build the tracks then, this is the interesting bit because I need to be at minus 15, don't I? This is where it's going to get super expensive. So straight to there on the minus 15. Now, once it gets out of this area, I can resort back to 5, but I think that one's a minus 10, right? So I'll just build it like this. So that's that extension there done. Now I know that these can be minus 5 from there to there. Nothing's stopping it, but that kind of merges up to a, or goes down, sorry, to a 10, right? But I've got to slightly wiggle this because of those couple of buildings just there. And because these will now be the new endpoints, I'll add a crossover there. And where's that station? Crossover just there. So to commit to those is 415 million now required. But that's my first step into a new borough. We're now heading from Manhattan into Brooklyn. This is getting exciting, guys. This really is. This really is getting exciting. I'm liking how everything's all crisscrossing one another. And then I can do a line that comes down the outskirts here from Queens into Brooklyn, kind of clipping all these stations. So it alleviates even more pressures. Isn't it wild how we can make it kind of like feel all integrated quite easily? We just eventually got to figure out which is the line that's going to run directly to the airport. Don't we have a second airport up here? We do, don't we? Now, if I check the demands, it's workers that you see at the airport. Does it pick up the New Jersey airport? It does. I just want to see how far we can actually go with all of this. I like the fact that we can go down to Coney Island. Oh, and Staten Island as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Let me know in the comment section. Does Staten Island have the subway system? Because I always know Staten Island to have the ferry system. And I thought the ferry system from there to there was there because it's in place of the subway system because there isn't a subway that goes there. Or is it Staten Island has light rail above ground? Let me know on that one. I'm not 100% clued up on that. But I appreciate you letting me know in the comment section down below. Maybe we could bring the subway to Staten Island. Maybe Staten Island already has the subway and I'm just talking jibber-jabber. I don't even know anymore. Right. Are we now making more money on the daily? Yes. The profit is now up to 277 a day. So I'm hoping with these extensions, we can be hopefully starting to push it to 300. And how much did I need to commit to these costs? 415, which it's now just happened. So with that said, we're going to pause. We're going to grab the green line and we're going to edit the route to now incorporate an extra stop over here and then back again. So confirm those changes. That's done. The yellow route, we're going to edit this to come down to here and back again. Beautiful. Confirm those. So it does make the route longer without me adding any extra trains onto it. And the yellow line is instantly at capacity. So I think we revert this to now an 844. And then we'll buy, or we can't afford to buy yet, can we? I can buy 5, which kind of helps out somewhere down the line. But we need a few more. Just to increase those frequencies. That's all we need to do here. So, oh, buy 10. Is that enough? Okay, that's enough to cover it. That is enough to cover it, but the trains, I think we might need to increase the frequency on those trains. I'm watching them, and they are hitting capacity. See, now it's rush hour. Now we get the 8 trains on the go. But I think it might be we need to add more cars to them. Because you get that one train that gets super busy every so often. So if I was to double it to 10, obviously I do not have enough. So if I spend 100 million on 40, that covers our backs. But I've made the yellow line trains longer, which I think might cause those issues again. Here. And it's difficult to see on the yellow line. But those trains are so much longer. I might need to move the bend. Now I've discovered this, by the way. This is something new that I've learned. By building these two here, I've learned about the depths and how I can make them better. And I might need to apply that to that blue line just there to fix that issue. If it starts creeping up again, we could be okay, but I think it's going to happen. So I at least I know that's an issue. And it's something that we will have to, you know, eventually rectify. But look at my network already. This is looking pretty good, isn't it? This is looking pretty good. And we can now ultimately start to think about the bigger picture and the bigger expansions. So if we have a little fast forward then as it goes along. And I'm now just paying attention. And I'm just want to see if anything arises. It's now the evening, so it should start to die down a bit with how busy it is. We haven't had a full day with the new extensions yet, but we're well over. Wow. The profit, I thought was going to get up to 300 million. We're at 340 million profit. So that just got busy. So what's changed then with the station ridership right now? So that's now starting to pick up a bit because obviously how busy it is. It's the population areas here we kind of now getting, which is adding on to everything. Transfers. So that's where the transfers are now happening. So yeah, we need... Because it's the first transfer point for anybody on the right side of it. And halfway down to here, going that way as well. So having a few more transfer points would be very, very beneficial. So what's this here? This is the... Oh, where did that go? Riders who started and ended their journey at a station. Interesting. Oh, to work, to go home. Yeah, as soon as you get into Brooklyn right now, it's more people wanting to... it's more residential people than anything else. So that makes sense why it is starting to get a little bit busier there. But pretty good, right? Pretty good. Right. The blue train near at capacity. See, now we're putting more demand and stresses on it all. So the blue line then, I'm wondering if it would make sense to make these 10s. If that doesn't cause, and the green line, making those 10s. So I can't do that because I need to buy more trains. Let's buy $100 million worth of extra train cars. So the red line's 10s, yellow line's 10s, green line's 10s, blue line is now 10s as well. So there's 10 cars to each train. We might as well do that just to increase capacity overall until we've got more alleviation. So what do you reckon now, guys? This is the serious question I want you to answer. Should I now focus on extending the lines, like the lengths, like the green line, the yellow line, the blue line, even going upwards to upstate New York? Or, right, do I focus on adding additional routes that cross these? So do I focus on the alleviation, if that's even the right word, of the pressures of the transfers? Or do I extend the lines? In my head, extending the lines will put more pressure on the transfers. But it will make me more money because there's less I've got to do, less investment because we already have the lines set up. Or do I focus on doing new lines that cross through existing areas we're already kind of reaching, but in doing so, takes pressures off my connections? Let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know in the comment section down below. But I think this is amazing. I think this is great already. We've now kind of kicked ourselves in to Brooklyn. And we're going to make our way all the way down to Coney Island at some point. It's going to be hilarious. But I think having that additional line that runs down here, because I'm going to run it down this way, come down, through there. That's probably the line that will go to Coney Island. That'll take a lot of pressure off as well. And obviously, we've got to extend as well. Maybe that's the line that kind of turns to go towards... Is that LaGuardia? That's LaGuardia, right? I think so. I could be wrong. I most often am wrong most of the time, guys. But yeah, there we go. So revenue-wise, we had 340. Now we're at 385 in profit a day. Transit growth. Wow. The red line becoming particularly popular. That's a good point as well. I want to see the lines. So route ridership. The yellow line, which was third place, is now number 1. The green line is not far off taking over. The red line has lost its dominance. That's pretty crazy to see, isn't it? But it makes sense, though, because we've extended the green line, we've extended the yellow line. Red line's pretty much stayed dormant. But the yellow line goes through the heart of the... not the financial area, sorry. Is it Midtown area? So it kind of makes sense. So... And with the fact that the red line's pretty much capped at probably not extending any further than where it is right now, unless we decide to kind of do something crazy. I don't know. Imagine having a subway stop on the Statue of Liberty. That would be funny, wouldn't it? But the red line could potentially extend further up into the Bronx. And I could cap these from not going that far. Or I could make the yellow line, then decide to switch over into New Jersey part over there. The green line continues. I don't know. Plenty of options. Very exciting. I can't wait. But that yellow line is destroying. It is absolutely destroying right now. Guys, we are going to end it here. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. If you have, please smash that like button down below. And until next time, I will see you all soon. So, goodbye.